I can hear my cat snoring over there.
I played video games in a drunken haze. I was 17 years young.
Let's get on with this shit. We're talking about Stay Tuned, one of my favorite movies from my childhood. I had John Ritter in it. John Ritter's great, so no point doing a long intro. I already bitched about what I needed to. Let's start this shit, okay? So we open on what appears to be a normal couple watching some late night television. It's so normal you almost want to turn the TV off, but seconds later an eerie man in black appears. Heading straight for the couple's house, he rings the doorbell. Yeah, this movie would already have a plot change if it were written in this day and age. Nobody opens the fucking door in the middle of the night.
Sorry to disturb you at this hour, Mr. Seitenbaum, but you...
That voice sounds familiar. Oh shit, it's the Killer Clowns from Outer Space! Oh god, it really is the Killer Clowns from Outer Space! Well, these credits are great. They're a hell of a lot better than the Highway to Hell ones we covered in my first review. Links in the description, I really need the views. And the thumbs up. They do go on too long though. I guess back in the day people didn't have patience, kind of like today, so they shoved all the credits at the very beginning of the movie, or at least the important ones, because they know nobody was going to stick around and watch that shit. After the credits, we're introduced to Daryl Nabel, narrator for the intro at least, and he quickly fills us in on his dad's quirks. Played by John Ritter in one of his many great roles, we meet Roy Nabel.
They say the average American watches 7.5 hours of TV a day. There are two guys who never watch, and my dad took their times.
After a bit more exposition, we learn that Daryl is pretty technologically knowledgeable, and in his room he's constructed an antenna of some kind or something like that that allows him to take over the broadcasting stations in a certain range of his house.
I like TV just as much as the next person. It's just there are more things you can do with it than only watch it.
He drops some dirt on the family and pulls a small hustle before a case of equipment failure. Next, we're introduced to Daryl's mother, and she's more successful than Roy, so that may be the cause of some unaddressed tension between the two.
My mom was a big deal advertising executive. My dad had this real suck job selling plumbing supplies. I heard them arguing one night. She said he was jealous of her success.
Well, I guess that made it clear. I should probably watch more than a few seconds of this shit before I make my comments, huh? We're given a goofy 90s montage of Roy suffering a series of possibly once comical mishaps.
And that brings us to that night I was talking about.
Continuing to narrate the story, Daryl drops a big fat foreshadowing bomb right in our laps.
That's when everything changed.
Later, while Roy is absorbed into a late night movie, for plot purposes only, we find the kids are leaving the house for the night to stay with friends. What friends could Daryl possibly have? Back in my day, kids like that were beat up all the time. Daryl expresses his worries to his mother, showing the naivety of children, because only children would think all it takes to fix a struggling marriage is a vacation. And some of you dumbasses want to get married at like 18 years old. We find out that the whole spending the night with friends thing was a plan by the kids so that the parents could get some alone time together. We also find out how addicted to television Roy really is, because he can barely pay attention to his wife. Uh-oh, sounds familiar.
What makes you say something like that? Shoot, you idiot, shoot!
John Ritter's acting skills really shine here, I gotta say.
You say that I'm shut off. I can't open up to you, that I'm closed down. I'm gonna be completely honest. I don't want you to take this the wrong way. We're in double overtime here.
So maybe it's not a career thing, maybe he's just an asshole.
Watch TV. Thanks, sweetheart. Could you mind moving just a second?
Damn.
This is unbelievable.
I guess an addict will get their fix. Meanwhile, a mysterious van pulls up outside with who? You know who. No, not that man in black.
Mr. Nabel.
It's Jeffrey Jones.
Disturb you at this hour.
Good thing Daryl's spending the night at a friend's house, if you know what I mean.
Look, I'm kind of busy right now.
Man, I wouldn't have even answered the door. So Jones, that's what I'm going to call him for the duration of this movie, is selling an expensive but revolutionary satellite system, and Roy, he says, has been personally selected to receive the offer. We'll just walk right in.
Look, Mr. Spike.
He just said his name was Mr. Spike, but I'm still going to call him Jones.
What exactly is it that you're selling?
Well, I already covered that, but he gives a better explanation with some insider knowledge on Roy's home situation.
You're tired of nothing, Roy. And so you just want to hide from everything in here. But she gives you hate, right? 666 channels of heart-pounding, skull-blasting entertainment.
Roy smartly passes on the offer until those sucker words come out of Jones's mouth.
Did I mention, free trial?
Free?
Well, Roy, all set for the TV adventure of a lifetime.
What the hell, were they setting the dish up anyway, just knowing he was going to take the offer? Man, my grandma had a satellite the size of that when I was a kid. In fact, we did too. Those things were so massive. I mean, I know monitors were really large back then, CRT and all that, but satellites were fucking massive. It's like we were searching the skies for SETI. He teaches Roy how to adjust the position if needed before driving off, and his wife arrives back home for the night. She is not gonna be happy.
Hi.
Okay, I guess Jones is the devil. Told you she wasn't gonna be happy.
Now, honey, just keep an open mind. There's no obligation. I got it on a free trial.
Roy giddily explains to her the benefits of this new satellite system.
Over 600 channels.
And much like Highway to Hell, there's something off about the channels these stations offer.
Oh, good night, sweetheart.
Wednesdays at 9. 3 Men and Rosemary's Baby.
Holy fucking shit!
The salesman said we get a lot of shows you can't get on regular TV.
We thought it would be funny if our Bob, dressed as a policeman, would tell a perfect stranger that her husband is dead.
That is morbid, but my god, that is hilarious.
Has something happened to my Stephen? Tell me.
Now watch her reaction to the bad news.
I'm afraid so.
Roy is so TV obsessed, I don't even think he notices anything is wrong here.
I'm on TV. Oh, guys. Oh.
See? Experiencing technical difficulties with the dish, he heads out to make adjustments to the position, all the while unaware Helen is packing suitcases like a frantic tourist late for a flight. She did have the courtesy to leave a note on the fridge, however, probably because Roy wouldn't listen to a damn word she was gonna say anyway. While arguing, neither of the two notice until it's too late the dish is acting very strange. It begins to suck up everything around it that isn't nailed down, including the Nables themselves. And just like that, we're gone, so stay tuned.
He said it! He said it!
For part 2. Nah, I'm just kidding. Let's knock this shit out in one go. We travel through some B-roll of the phone booth scenes in either Bill and Ted movie and straight into Jones's mouth. Ernest. We end up on the set of some TV game show called You Can't Win, of which both Roy and Helen are suddenly the guests of. Utterly confused, they look on as the host introduces the showcase prizes.
The all-new Napa Crapper 9000.
Who wants their living room to smell like piss and shit?
It adjusts to you so you don't have to move.
Next on Hoarders.
Every contestant takes home a set of Encyclopedia Satanica.
What? Encyclopedia Satanica?
Encyclopedia Satanica.
Do I need to put the devil costume on? The host begins grilling Roy about his many mistakes in the relationship. After being called out on missing an important dinner with his wife because he was drinking and watching baseball at a bar, we're given a backstage look at the show.
Trust me, babe, you lucked into the right place.
Wait a minute, isn't that Eugene Levy?
I mean, you can cool your heels in here for the rest of eternity.
All I can think about is American Pie anytime I see that guy. He gives a rundown, not really, just movie talk bullshit on this big-ass scoreboard behind him and how it's somehow keeping track of the SBIs.
Souls batted in. Kind of a sports thing.
Jones rolls out from his Dr. Evil / James Bond henchman-style table and somehow changes the course of events for anyone unlucky enough to have accepted his satellite deal and found themselves sucked inside of this place.
That's entertainment.
Oh, he's good.
We finally get a slightly better explanation of not how, but at least what's going on here.
Here at Hellvision, we've turned the process of soul acquisition into an entertainment extravaganza, and all for the benefit of one very demanding viewer.
Okay, so they're gathering souls for Satan through television. I mean, it's a pretty cool concept, but why did it take them so long to explain it? When they finally did, they half-assed it. Back on set with the Nables, the game continues.
Name the person who's recently been seeing a former lover.
What the hell kind of trick question was that? Were we as the audience to assume that they had split up and got back together? I mean, how would we know that?
The former lovers we've been seeing are each other.
Helen answers correctly, saving them for the time being, and we see another light bar on the scoreboard turn on, indicating the Nables have completed this particular channel's game or circumstance. I don't know what to call it, really. How did all of that take a whole hour? American Pie Dad gets taken out by the devil remote and sucked into one of the monitors nearby. I guess that means we'll be seeing him later.
Screw up in here and you're dead meat.
Back to the Nables, we find them at a spinning prize wheel that will determine their vacation destination for winning. It's kind of funny because there's only one door here and every single number on the wheel is 1, so you know, you get it no matter what.
What is going on?
And I was always fascinated by this static, you know. I always wanted to walk through it. I wanted to open a door as a kid and walk through static into some kind of other life, you know. That would have been awesome. Suddenly, the Nables are thrust into the ring of a wrestling match. Now, this is why I loved this movie so much as a kid. You never know what you're gonna get when you step through one of these doors.
Okay, everything goes. Maim, murder each other, I don't care.
Sounds like the early days of the UFC, huh? While preparing for the fight, we get a little more context on the struggles of their marriage.
I got a promotion.
You got why didn't you tell me you got a promotion?
Because my success threatens you.
I knew it. The fight starts with that typical 90s comedy script slapstick style where Roy somehow can't hear the bell ding and Helen just doesn't bother to say anything because, you know, funny. Come on, Roy, are you deaf? I know TV rots your eyes, they say, but your ears? I don't feel like this dude's makeup is very intimidating. So over the next few minutes, Roy mercilessly gets his ass kicked while Jones and the henchmen look on it like it gets them off or something.
Exhilarating and a tedious life.
Scenes like this just don't age well. They reek of that 90s comedy script, if you kind of know what I'm saying.
Leave him alone, you bitch!
See what I mean? Finding strength in yet another stereotypical 90s joke, this time about women, Helen is only able to muster up the power to conquer this beastly woman when some of her hair gets torn out.
My hair!
Okay, that's bullshit. I'm gonna tell you right now, I've owned one of those big-ass heavy mic stands like that, and let me tell you, you ain't gonna swing that thing around that easily. Jones's disappointment shows as the scoreboard lights up yet another bar for the victors, the Nables. After beating the challenge, we get another one of those lame bits from 90s movies, you know, where the characters are walking and not looking where they're going, and suddenly, whoa!
It does too!
We cut to the most realistic-looking version of Paperboy on any console I've ever seen. Oh wait, never mind, it's just a brain kid Daryl.
Daryl.
Children, that's not very nice.
I had no reason at all to put that in there, I just wanted to. Arriving back home from the sleepover, which I thought was supposed to take a whole night, but the clock in hell or Jonesland has only counted down 2, so whatever, you tell me. We find the kids confused and impressed by this new television system they found in the living room.
Oh my god.
We get some more of those awesome TV shows, or snippets of at least, that again absolutely make me want to subscribe to this network. I mean, don't you want to watch these shows?
The usual, sir? Please.
See that, Reddit? That's how you pun, damn it. Now we find the Nables running through a snowstorm towards a small cabin with someone out front in the distance.
That way!
Told you we'd see him again. At least he's useful. He seems to know how this works and explains the static door things are conduits or channels. Again, this is what I love so much about this movie. Who didn't want to walk through one of those things the first time they saw it, no matter what age you were? I'm honestly not sure why they can't just dive right into the thing immediately unless the wolves are the challenge of this channel or something. It's still a bit unclear how this works, honestly. They instead run for cover in the shack and we cut back to the kids. Telling her little bro to get lost, older sister, who the hell cares what her name is, plans a party and Daryl heads outside, grabs his bike, but before leaving gets distracted by something he sees near the dish. Without warning, the dish wakes up and begins sucking in everything around it, taking Daryl's hat and then his bike, but he's lucky enough to grab hold of the porch.
What are you doing?
Did you see that?
Of course she didn't. You know she's written to be as unhelpful as possible. We get a little more exposition in the shack that's so-so, but not worth explaining to you, but this scene is pretty funny.
The odds of making it are about 1 in a...
You dumb bitch, how did you forget what was out there already? What is it with the first 2 movies I chose to review having such strange time issues? Some more hilarious TV shows are shown to us.
Hey you, what do you think of this color here?
Touches with the bars.
Coming this fall, 30-something to life.
The Silencer of the Lambs. Silencer of the Pets sold separately.
How are the ads and commercials in these kinds of movies always more entertaining than the actual movie they're in? Daryl, though, what's his deal? None of what he sees on TV seems to affect him. Well, I guess we were that way as kids too, huh? Until he spots what he rightly believes is his bike in the hands of a character on one of the shows.
My bike.
Like an idiot, he tries to convince his sister that the bike he sees on TV is actually his. And do I really need to try and explain the intricacies of this scene to you? Just listen.
You saw a bike like yours on TV. So what?
Not a bike like my bike. My bike. Come on.
Stop it! Leave me alone!
There you go. This kid kind of looks and acts like Sponge from Salute Your Shorts. We get more drama in the shack. Before they're smart enough to figure out they can push it along the ice towards the conduit. What is with this unnecessary tension? Some parts are so lame. And some parts are so awesome, my god, this is why I wanted to be in this movie as a kid. The animation is really well done for this, honestly. Back at the house, we find Daryl channel surfing, and guess what he stumbles upon?
What are you talking about?
It's Mom and Dad in the cartoon!
Recognizing the voices and mannerisms of his parents, he becomes convinced he's looking at him.
I am not a mom. I'm Helen Nabel.
Or she just spells it out right in front of him.
I live at 1532 Blue Jay Court. I have 2 beautiful children.
We didn't ask for your resume and life story, lady, come on. We get a lot of cartoon slapstick type animation and jokes, but all it really amounts to is they run from the cat and look for the conduit. It's enjoyable even today, but not really worth talking about, so if you like that kind of thing, just get your hands on the movie and check it out. Again, like an idiot, Daryl tries convincing his sister.
Can't you see? It's Mom and Dad in the cartoon!
What a delivery on that line, kid.
Very funny, pushhead.
More cartoon shenanigans. Let's just cut to the conduit since none of this matters. And oh yeah, Jones is still watching everything from his evil lair. So through the conduit we go and into more hilarious TV bumpers.
All of a sudden, I can't see anything.
Different strokes.
Why are these bumpers so hilarious?
It's my 3 sons of bitches.
Ah! Saturday Night Dead? Seriously, this is my favorite part of the movie. I wish I could just stick this scene in here in its entirety, but I can't. If I were you, I'd get this movie for this scene alone. The Nabels are thrust into yet another game with Roy in ropes until he is released from them with an awfully written idea. Whoever wrote this part of the script should have really thought twice. It would never burn that fast. So Roy escapes out the door, leaving Helen behind, I guess, and finds himself on another channel as Private Dick.
Roy Nabel, Private Dick. Better than being a public dick. Okay.
Roy narrates us in his own mind through these next few parts, which, like the cartoon, doesn't really serve much plot advancement, just entertainment, so we'll be glossing over this. We do get a few more slapstick gags, as apparently Roy can't handle a gun.
Mr. Nabel, you've dropped your gun again.
Quick cut back to Jones, we find him getting even angrier that the Nabels are still surviving. We're then given yet another hilarious advert.
And now, get in shape with the exercises.
Genius.
Feel it first!
I don't even know what to say. Let's just watch that again.
Feel it first! Very good!
Yogi Beer, you'll be just like your dad.
Oh my god, Yogi Beer. That's probably dated as hell, but again, take note, Reddit. That's how you pun. Following the formula we've become accustomed to by now, Daryl tries to tell the sister. Sister doesn't believe him. Satellite acts up. No one seems to notice. Daryl saves them, and then somehow manages to get the sister to pay attention to the TV long enough to see and believe. More Roy, more Jones, more kids, more just skating through the plot without much explanation, kind of like me explaining this movie to you. We end up on Daryl tearing apart the stereo for parts. You remember how this stuff works in 90s movies. Random parts, wires, blinking lights, dials and knobs, gadgets and gizmos.
I need the parts.
Did I say gadgets and gizmos? Gadgets and gizmos, Jesus. That was a real fuck up. Roy manages to show up and rescue Helen.
Keep the change, you filthy animal.
They take the remote from the dudes mowed down in the gunfire and use it to escape to another channel.
Piece of cake.
The next item we have for you on the Home Shoplifting channel.
Home shoplifting? Douchey daughter locates mom and dad again finally, and someone else shows up yet again too. He gives us a lot of dialogue that once again seems to say nothing. I guess I'm pretty good at that too, huh? The events do seem to have an effect on Roy, who promises to...
If we ever get out of this, things are gonna be different, I promise.
More tomfoolery is afoot as Roy becomes the object of affection for one of the French guards. Realizing though that Roy isn't really a woman, he and Helen are both captured and taken to the guillotine.
The guillotine awaits!
Now, I don't know exactly what Daryl's doing here. I guess the power from his house isn't enough, so he kind of steals some from the neighbors to boost it or something like that. It's pretty cool, I guess. I thought it was cool as a kid. They tried to build tension, you can tell, and maybe it worked in script form, but it just feels like get the hell on with it to me, so let's do just that.
Dad, can you hear me?
God.
The idea of fooling primitive man with future technology is always interesting to me. Daryl demands the release of his parents, and the guards immediately comply as the clock reaches 0. That really pisses off Jones, who finds a loophole to release only Roy and keep Helen.
The contract was for him only.
Yes. Ooh, you're the ugliest bitch in perdition.
Ugliest bitch in perdition.
Discharge, Mr. Nate.
How can we be sure he'll come back?
Because he loves her.
There you go. That cloak he's wearing is way too cool for this movie. Neat! We arrive on an unused part of the Back to the Future 3 set with Helen tied to some railroad tracks. Jones appears on TV taunting Roy, who of course goes back.
Her gutless failure of a husband won't lift a finger to save her.
So back into the satellite, Roy gives us a comedic take on Eastwood before spotting Helen on the tracks. He gets challenged to some more Sergio Leone camera angles.
Make your move, Tinhorn.
Today, Roy!
For real, let's wrap this thing up. I don't want this to end up as long as my Highway to Hell review was at first. Okay, I'm done recycling jokes, I promise. I genuinely thought it was funny. I'm not trying to be lazy and just reuse shit.
You missed me, partner.
Told you. While wrestling each other in some hand-to-hand combat, a button is pressed and they are both sent to another channel. Roy locates the remote, presses a button, and finds himself in a way worse situation.
Shatner.
So as expected, the remote saves Roy at the last minute, and now he's playing hockey with the remote as the puck. What were they playing with before the puck? More channel changes and parodies of well-known movies. I still can't stop laughing at these bits. You know what's coming, right?
Whoa! Where have you been?
I never realized how funny that was as a kid. I cannot fucking believe I missed that. I never watched that show. See, if you don't know, John Ritter used to be on a show called Three's Company. And it's a little bit before my time, possibly yours, so look into that if you are a big Ritter fan. Looks like some Senor Martinez shit to me.
Vaya, con Dios.
I guess this is a Three Musketeers parody. I honestly don't know, but we get some more scenes where they try to drum up suspense by cutting back and forth between the fight with Roy and Jones, Helen on the track, and the kids who get the idea to toss a sword into the satellite, which magically lands right in Roy's hand, of course. This is No Princess Bride. Love that book. After some unfunny lines, Jones's remote falls out of his sleeve and Roy grabs it. As they fight over it, a button gets pressed and Roy now finds himself on the set of a Salt and Peppa video. What the hell? Now look, I'm not giving Salt and Peppa shit. I like them. I grew up listening to R&B thanks to my cousin and all, but like, it just takes me out of the movie. It's like, don't you get taken out of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 a little bit when Vanilla Ice pops up? It just dates it. Yeah, I don't know. I still kind of like that one. It's just such a strange cameo to me because I didn't remember it, and seeing it so suddenly just really took me out of the movie for a moment, which I didn't even think was possible. I really don't understand the point of these scenes either. I guess it's just to show John's funny dance moves and Salt and Peppa to get some royalties. Whatever, let's just skip this stupid dance off. Okay, seriously though, I counted up how many minutes of screen time this song and dance crap took up. Guess how long it was? 3 fucking minutes. Why is there basically a Salt and Peppa music video shoved into this movie? If you cut out that entire scene, you wouldn't have even noticed anything was missing. Again, I'm not bitching about Salt and Pepper. They're great. It didn't fit in this movie. Even Vanilla Ice didn't play this long in the Turtles movie. Finally getting his hands on the remote, we appear back on the tracks.
What do you do when you want the TV to go away? You turn it off!
Quick! Change the channel!
Back out on the lawn, the only threat now seems to be the neighbor's dog.
Whoever left the gate open is grounded for a week.
Or not, the satellite gets a last-minute snack before melting into the ground.
None of this matters.
Daryl gives us a parting narration trying to tie up all the loose ends this movie had, and if you haven't guessed it already, there's really nothing worth watching at this point, and probably why they shoved the credits at the beginning of the movie. Even this freeze frame at the end is lame. We do get a pretty good credit roll though, only because they put a TV over there on the other side, and it just showed a whole bunch more adverts for shows in hell and stuff, and man, they are funny. I'll grab some screenshots for you. I can't put them in here like in video form because Warner Brothers has a dick up their ass. So that's it. Stay tuned.
Yeah, there it is. There it is.